profession is called political communications consulting. I'm a political communications expert. In other words, my job is to help politicians tell the truth in an effective way. I'm a failure at my job. At this very moment, you are looking at a person who is doing the most frightening task in the world. Nakatingin po kayo sa isang tao na ang ginagawa sa mga sandaling ito ay ang bagay na pinaka-nakakatakot sa buong mundo. And that job is called speaking in public. Many years ago, I met a general in the Armed Forces of the Philippines. Let me tell you his story. I'd like to tell the story because I'd like you to be proud of our armed forces. Now, this general eventually became Chief of Staff. He was Commanding General of the Philippine Army. And when he retired from the Armed Forces of the Philippines, he was named ambassador to one of our Asian neighbors. A perfect gentleman. Now, this general is from Mindanao. So if you're from Mindanao, you should be proud of him. And if he ever runs for governor of his province, please vote for him. Now, this Philippine Army retired, this Philippine Army, Armed Forces of the Philippines retired general, is a battle-tested soldier. He fought in many battles. And our countrymen remember him, especially those who come from the Zamboanga Peninsula, because when he was assigned in Zamboanga City, and rebel forces attempted to take over that city, they failed. In a few hours, he drove them away. Many years ago. Battle-tested general, one of the bravest, finest soldiers we ever had. And one day, I was talking to this general. Ang tanong ko sa kanya, ganito, General, pag tinignan mo yung track record mo, lahat yata ng gera, hinarap mo na. Meron ka pa ba kinakatakutan sa buhay? Ang sabi niya, isa na lang. Ano po yun? Magsalita in public. So our soldiers, and you will see this with our own generals until today, when they stand up before people, may kaba, ang lakas. Ang sabi nila sa akin, mas gusto pa namin yung makipagbarilan sa basilan kaysa magpa-interview sa TV o magsalita sa harap ng isang audience. So it is true, ladies and gentlemen, and it is not unique in the Philippines. At this very moment, you are looking at a person who is performing the most frightening, difficult task in the world. And what is that? Speaking before people. So during the next 2 days, I'd like to make a proposal to you. Meron po akong proposal sa inyo. Why don't you and I conquer that fear once and for all? Why don't you and I conquer that fear once and for all? 3 things happen when we conquer that fear. Number 1, people get to understand us better. And most of you are doctors. When people understand you, the second thing happens. You save people's lives. Number 1, people get to understand you better. Number 2, you get to save more lives of our countrymen. And number 3, if you speak well and conquer the fear, just like me, someday you'll probably get paid better. That's a dream. But anyway, today we begin our journey. Our journey begins by making a decision that once and for all, you and I will conquer that one last fear in our lives, the fear of public speaking.